Hold on, yeah. Oopsie. Okay. Okay, welcome back everyone to our Buddha Dhamma Cure to the Mind commentary to Medicine Buddha Sutra and Daily Practices. So before we start, let us begin with silent meditation. So for today, since last Saturday, we learn more about Medicine Buddha mantra. So for today, I would like everyone to experience listening to the Medicine Buddha mantra while we meditate. Okay, so before I play the mantra, so if you have glasses, you can remove them. Make sure you're sitting comfortably, hands making meditation gesture. We can close our eyes, slightly tucking our chin. Let us taking a few deep breaths as we relax our physical body and we try to stay focused. For today, let us focus on the Medicine Buddha mantra. Namo just slowly taking 3 deep breaths, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in, breathing out, breathing in again, breathing out. Let us slowly open our eyes, gently rub our palms together. Let's cover our palms on our eyes, the top of our head, over our ears, the back of our neck. Let's rub our palms together again. Let us gently massage our shoulders, arms, all the way to our fingers and wrists. Rub our palms together again. Let's breathe in, breathe out as we bend forward, massage our back, our thighs, knees, calves, all the way to our toes. Okay, put back your glasses if you have one. Yeah, so, okay. So a quick recap of what we have learned last Saturday. We focus on the practice of recitation of Medicine Buddha mantra. And we know that it is a very powerful mantra as it derives from the great compassion in eliminating the suffering and agitation of all beings. Even though we might not be able to pronounce every word accurately, even though like we recite in Chinese, and some of you, if you were to search online, you might find the recitation of this mantra in Tibetan language, or in Sanskrit, and even in Pali. So there are different pronunciation in a way, but the main focus is for us when we recite this mantra is for us to focus and concentrate on the loving kindness and compassion of Medicine Buddha with a clear mind. So last Saturday, after the class, I was like doing my reflection of like this class. So I suddenly thought of one incident where a venerable or a practitioner, when he came across a house and he heard this senior woman was doing her mantra of the great compassion Avalokitesvara Bodhisattva's mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, the 6 words of this mantra. So when this venerable heard this senior was reciting, the way that she recited as Om Mani Padme Nu. The last word, the pronunciation is slightly different. But the amazing thing is that when she has been reciting this mantra for like years, like she has been practicing this recitation mantra while practicing meditation, focusing so well that there's a bowl of beans in front of her, and there's another empty bowl next to that bowl filled with beans. So whenever she recited Om Mani Padme Nu, this mantra, this bean, for some reason, like it just flipped from this bowl, which is full, to an empty bowl. So whenever she recited Om Mani Padme Nu, and then this bean will jump from this full bowl to the empty bowl. So after she practiced meditation, the full bowl of beans will be empty and the empty bowl will be filled with all the beans. So it is, and then here comes this practitioner. He heard that the last word is not as accurate as the way of this mantra. So he kind of like shared with this senior saying that, when we recite this great compassion mantra of Guanyin Bodhisattva is Om Mani Padme Hum. The last word is Hum. Okay. And then this senior, after listening to what he said, she was like so worried, and she was like, oh no, for so many years I've recited wrongly the mantra. And then from that day onwards, she tried to correct her pronunciation. Like, so she will start reciting in her mind, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. But because her mind is no longer that focus on the mantra, her mind is like thinking and processing of what the past that she has done. And then her mind is like very distracted with the making sure that the accuracy of that last word. So her mind is distracted. So whenever she recite that mantra, the bean will not flip from one bowl to another bowl. So the message from this story is to let us understand that when we recite a mantra, is the main thing is for us to know the great vows, the great compassions of all the Buddhas. And sometimes the mantra itself, like for example, Medicine Buddha mantra. So even though we know that the basic meaning of like homage to Medicine Buddha, the great teacher, and then when we recite the Om Baisaje, 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 that is basically the word of medicine, medicine, medicine. But when we recite this mantra in our mind, or even when we are practicing on meditation, the main thing is for us to focus on the great compassion of the Buddha. We have to focus on the main practice of the Buddha or Bodhisattva. Okay, so it is one way, it's one of the skillful means for us to embrace the powerful mantra, embrace the great vows of the Buddha. And with that recitation, it helps us to clear our mind, it helps us to focus our mind, it helps us to dedicate merit from this recitation of the mantra to all sentient beings, to all our family members, those we know, or even our friends, or even the people that we might not know across the globe, around the world. So I know that the recitation of the mantra itself, it might be hard because there are a few sentences. There are more than 6 words. It's more than a word, Om. So it might take a little bit some time to take a little bit longer to try to pronounce or remember this mantra. But I hope that everyone can understand the main purpose for us to recite the mantra is for us to concentrate. Our mind is for us to embrace and to learn from the Buddha's great vows and the practices. Okay. So that is a quick recap of what we have covered last Saturday. And for today, I'm going to share with you all another practice, another main practice of Medicine Buddha is with the power of gratitude and contentment. Okay, so if we reflect on our everyday life, everything that we do from the moment that we wake up and all the way until we go to bed at night, there are many things that we do during the day. There are many people that we come across. There are many things around us that we come across too, like we have contact with. But sometimes if we are not aware, sometimes we might be overwhelmed with whatever that we need to do every day. There are many things that we might have taken for granted, not realizing the existence of certain things that we have. We might already take it for granted the friends that we have, the family that we have, the workplace that we are in. There are many things that we don't realize what we have until we lose it. Okay, and of course, sometimes it can be our ego that deters us from appreciating the things that we have. Sometimes we say that, well, I already have it. And then sometimes the ego within ourselves might think that, well, this is it. This is life. This is my house. This is my car. This is whatever that I have. So sometimes, like if we see others that who don't have it, or one day when we lose it, only then we realize the existence, the importance of having that thing, or even like our physical well-being, like the 10 fingers that we have, 2 ears that we have, the 2 eyes that we have, the glasses that we wear, if you have one. Sometimes we might have forgotten that existence until one day you wake up, you couldn't find your glasses, you cannot find denture, cannot find certain things. That we wake up, there's no electricity, and so on and so forth. Okay, so, and of course, like it could be because of greed, where we constantly crave for more things more than we need. Then we might, because of that greed, because of not feeling content of whatever that we have, we might grow the greediness within our mind more and more. So there are many little things around us waiting for us to discover. If we have, if we practice the practice of like being grateful, appreciative of what we have, and of course, like not take for granted the things that we have. Just like this tiny picture that I would like to share with you. Sometimes when we walk on a road, it could be like a blooming weed. It could be the flowers that we have, the plants that we have. It could be a cup of coffee that we have every day. And we might not even know that the existence. We have become a habit of just taking, eating, talking, not noticing it, the importance, until one day you wake up, there's no coffee, you wake up, there's no bread, there's no rice, there's no noodles, there's no whatever that we have. And even sometimes when we wake up in the morning, some of us, like, you know, when the physical conditions is not there, some of us might not even be able to stand up from the bed, might not be able to do whatever that we do every day. Okay, so as part of the introduction, is like it is for us to reflect on the things that we have, and the question that as part of our reflection is like, what happened if we are not content? What happened if we do not appreciate the things that we have? Okay, so it is sometimes main reason behind all of this is it could be because of the greediness and the selfishness within ourselves. People all harbor some degree of selfishness in their minds. They always think of themselves first. When they see something they like, they want to possess it. As long as they can get what they want, they do not care if others live or die. Okay. As a result, the disease of greed naturally arises. So this is from the book, A Look at Modern Social Issues, where Venerable Master Xing Yun addressed a topic on the society today. Even though I know, like, through the question that I ask everyone during the week, what are the things that we are grateful for? Okay, so through your comments and feedbacks that you have shared, I know that many of you practice Bodhisattva's path. Every one of you had a great heart in appreciating and being grateful for everything that you have, be it like your family, the things that you have, like the roof over your head, the Dharma that we have the opportunities to learn, the people around us, family, and etc. But then if we look at the society today, sometimes some of us might do certain things. It's not for the greater good, but because of the selfishness, because of the ego within ourselves, we might put a little bit too much emphasis, highlight on ourselves, that we have forgotten about others. Okay, so when we talk about greediness and selfishness, for some reason, this cartoon character just pop up in my mind. Could be because of like what I've seen when I was younger. That this cartoon, like Uncle Scrooge McDuck, is one of the cartoon characters that reminded me of. He is very selfish and also stingy. Now, even though he had lots of money in the bank where he can swim with the coins and everything, but with that cartoon character, it reminds me of being able to share and appreciate what we have is more important than whatever that we own, whatever that we just cling on to it without sharing. We won't feel comfortable. We might be worried about the things that we have day and night, afraid of like others stealing or taking the portion of what we have. So that reminds me of like we should like constantly reflect upon ourselves, not to be too greedy and not to be too self-centered. And we try to practice the practice of gratitude and being grateful for everything that we have. Only then we'll be able to give and share. So in the Medicine Buddha Sutra, there was one paragraph in the sutra. It says that there are sentient beings who do not know the difference between beneficial and harmful conduct, bent on acquiring and maintaining advantage alone. They remain greedy and close-fitted and unaware of the beneficial fruit of giving, ignorant and therefore lacking in any trust in the merit of giving. They desperately accumulate and guard their material riches. Thus, upon meeting a beggar, they experience suffering from the knowledge that they will receive nothing in return for the donation. So strong is their attachment to their riches that to part with even a portion is like parting with a portion of their own flesh. So in this paragraph, it described like a person who is so stingy and selfish. When it comes to like sharing, one will not cross the mind is because when that attachment is so strong that when one gives a certain things, it's just like cutting part of their own flesh. Okay, so in this paragraph, it also reminds us that when we are greedy, when we're too attached to the things that we have, we won't be able to be aware of the importance of sharing and giving to those who are in need, or not to say like lending a hand or helping those who are in need. Okay, and that type of attachment is so great. That one unable to let go or unable to share, not to say to give to others. So I recall there was a Buddhist story when during the Buddhist time. This story was also mentioned in the Buddha Light podcast a few weeks ago. It's long story short is about like there was a man. He had a lot of riches, has a lot of treasure, and then he had a son. When towards the end of his life, he was like still holding on to the treasures, all the wealth that he has, even the last moment of his breath of his life, he still hold on to whatever that he had. And eventually when he passed on, his mind is still clinging on and attached to the wealth that he have left behind in the human world. So eventually he was born as a dog in this family, in his son's family, to guard over whatever that he had left behind. Okay, but then his son is not aware of it. He just knew that this dog just happened to passed by and then wanted to stay in that home. And out of compassion, his son like started to give food to this dog, and this dog is very good, guarding at the door all the time. And then one day when the Buddha and the Sangha happened to walk past this home, okay, and then the Buddha saw the dog, and then the Buddha knew that this is the right time to share the teachings of like giving and letting go of the attachment of the worldly possession. So the Buddha talked to this dog saying that whatever that you have left behind, you have to let your son know. You have to practice generosity. You have to let go, because as a dog, you won't be able to guard this treasure, guard this wealth forever. Okay, you have to move on. Okay, and then the Buddha and the Sangha left. The dog was like feeling so sad and depressed. And when the son came back from work, he noticed like the change in the dog, and then he started to try to feed the dog. The dog didn't want to eat, didn't want to sleep, and it just looked depressed, just like the picture that I shared like a few slides ago. Okay, and then eventually he heard that the Buddha came by his house, and someone said that the Buddha actually talked to the dog. And then this son, because his love for this dog, he marched to see the Buddha, and he felt anger. And then he said to the Buddha, "Buddha, what have you done to my dog? After you left, after you talked to my dog, he felt depressed. He no longer wanted to eat. He didn't even want to go to bed, go to sleep. What have you done to my dog?" He repeated. And then the Buddha told him the whole story of the dog is actually his father, reborn as a dog to guard over this wealth. And then the Buddha said that if you don't believe me, you go back home and please ask the dog, "If you are really my father, please show me where you buried the treasure." Okay. And eventually when the son went back home and talked to the dog, and eventually the dog lead him to a place, and then he started digging for a wall, and then he left it to the son to do the further digging. And eventually the son found all the wealth that his father has hidden over years. And when the son went back to the Buddha, he repented. He said sorry to the Buddha, saying that, "Oh, it is part of my ignorance that I don't know what really happened. But thanks to Buddha, my father eventually be able to let go of his wealth and move on. And because he has discovered this wealth, the son eventually shared the wealth to the poor, to those who are in need. And then the dog eventually move on to the next life in a better life because of the merit of like sharing and giving whatever that he has by the son." Okay, so attachment sometimes is so strong that we might not be aware of it until like we realize that, just like this in the sutra said that when we want to give, when we lose something, as if that a part of us is like cutting our own flesh. It's just like when we have something that we love so much, when we lose it, we felt so heartbroken. We felt so as if like we were being stabbed in our heart, that kind of feeling. Then we know that this is attachment. This is the things that we hold on to it so much. Okay, so if we look at in today's world, okay, not only ourselves, okay, our action, the footprints that we have left behind, if our mind is not filled with gratefulness, appreciative mind, or even like willing to overcome the greediness that we might have, the selfishness that we might have, we might end up hurting ourselves physically and mentally. Okay, so not only like our physical body, not only our mind, but deforestation happen around the world because of our greed, because we want to have more wealth. There are many reasons behind the global warming that we are experiencing. Like, for example, the factory that is emitting so much of the carbon monoxide, or even like all the toxic waste through the air, because a person, a company might want to save some money to don't do a proper management of the discharge by putting a proper filter, by putting like proper treatment to whatever that flows in the river, flows in the air. And then eventually we experience the effects of our actions. We experience the effects of the causes that we have planted, not only ourselves, but also like it accumulates, okay? And today we experience like the change in climate. We have fire, we have bushfire, we have forest fire, we have drought, we have stronger and stronger typhoon, hurricane, and even like in North Arctic, and also like in the South Pole, where there's a lot of like melting of the iceberg, and also like because of the rising of the temperature, there's ice melting. Because of ice melting, there's like rising of the seawater level. And there are many causes that we have planted in the past. We might thought that, oh, this forest is so huge. If I were to cut down a few trees, it won't matter. If I were to like pour a glass of water on the floor, it won't matter. If I were to turn on the tap and let the water flow, it won't matter because it's just such a small amount. But all the tiny actions that we have made because of greediness, because our selfishness, because we thought that it's this very small amount, things just accumulate. Okay, so I found this interesting short documentary on the importance of the biodiversity in our environment, and how everything maintains itself in a balanced manner. But if we overdo certain things, this balance will become unbalanced in a way. So let us take a look.
Our planet is incredibly beautiful, isn't it? Not that it's any surprise with billions of species roaming the Earth, from microbes to baobab trees, all the way up to blue whales. And it's all interconnected, like dragonflies with 28,000 lenses per eye, or peacocks with microscopic crystals tinting their feathers. Even the insects they eat and every other part of their habitats too. So what if all that variety disappeared? Wouldn't be so great. Might not be that far off. Extinctions are rising faster than ever before. The difference? Us, humans. Since we came along, species have been dropping out 100 times faster than the natural rate. And get this, biodiversity, that's the assortment of life on Earth, is super important for maintaining the health of our environment, not to mention our food supply and our economy, like the bees that pollinate our crops, or the forests that clean the air and filter our water. Penicillin? You can thank a fungus for that. And biodiversity deserves some credit for all the likes your vacation photos have been racking up. Pretty much everything is balancing on, well, everything else. Like mangroves. They're a birthing ground for parrotfish, and those little guys grow up to clean algae off coral reefs. Without them, reefs would suffocate, and fish would stop gathering. And then sharks and dolphins, even fishermen, would have to find other places to hunt. Plus, mangroves and reefs also protect us from big storms like hurricanes and tsunamis. And that's just one habitat. Each one of those supports the greater global ecosystem. Remove just one piece of that puzzle and the entire thing becomes vulnerable. Pull too many pieces, it could all crumble. That's what biodiversity really means. It's not too late. We can slow the extinctions and save the planet. If we protect our wild ecosystems and change our habits to help restore the lands we've already degraded, which is no small task, it means changing how we approach infrastructure, the ways we farm, and even the behaviors our economies reward around the world. No biggie though. We've landed robots on Mars. We got this. If we can agree to prioritize it. Because it's going to take bold public leadership and private investment. But this is a goal we can all get behind, right? Because we're a part of this biodiversity thing too. And preserving all that means preserving ourselves.
Okay. Yeah, I when I saw this short documentary, it reminds me of like how everything are interconnected in many ways. And sometimes we might think that it is just a small, tiny matter. But because of this action, it has a domino effects to what will happen, we will affect the following condition. And just like the last part where you see like tiny, tiny dots, it also reminds me of like how everything are interdependent. If we were to make this change, we will be able to change the whole picture. If we continue on doing a lot of harm towards our environment, even to ourselves physically, the whole nature, the whole like the balance within our body, between the four great elements of earth, water, fire, and wind, the four great elements within ourselves, we might be out of balance. Like for example, because of work, we stay up late at night. And then after some time, we might feel that it's okay, my body can handle it. But our physical body might give us some sign saying that, oh, we need to go to bed earlier, we need to have a balanced lifestyle, we need to have a better life so that we won't be staying up late, experiencing a lot of stress. We have to have a balanced lifestyle. The same goes to our nature that we lived in. There's a lot of biodiversity that is happening where even our bare eyes, we won't be able to see it. But as long as we are, when we are grateful, just like the reflection that I've asked everyone to do during the week, it helps us to really see the things that we have. It really helps us to see what we're experiencing. It really helps us to really embrace whatever that we encounter in our life. Okay, be able to accept the uncontrollable and unchanging conditions or outcomes in our life. So not only that, we try to value the ups and downs in life as precious experiences to grow stronger. So in this picture that I share with you, there are many things that we can appreciate. I know like many of you have mentioned like appreciate the family that you have, appreciate opportunity to be a human so that we can learn the Dharma, the practice, the Buddha's teachings, and of course like to have a good work, a great job, to have 3 meals a day, to have the air to breathe. There are many things that we are thankful for. But with this reflection, with this contemplation, it really helps us to embrace, it helps us to accept, it helps us to value whatever that we experience every single day. Okay, and not only that, this is a great foundation for us to learn how to share. It's for us how to learn to give. So in the Medicine Buddha Sutra, the following paragraph, it mentioned that those sentient beings who die in this frame of mind, like the previous paragraph, like the mind of like stinginess, the mind of like attachment, will be reborn in either the hungry ghost or animal realm. However, due to the fact that while in the human realm, they temporarily had the chance to hear the name of the medicine Buddha, upon remembering this Buddha's name, they shall immediately be reborn in a human realm, okay? Influenced by the memory of the past life experience and the suffering of the lower realms, they are willing to forego the enjoyment of sensual pleasures and instead enter into activities of generosity, even praising the efforts of others who give. So the last sentence emphasizes a lot on generosity and also appreciating the efforts of those who give and share. And of course, like some of you might have the question of like, oh, how do we remember, how do we change immediately after listening or remembering the name of medicine Buddha? Okay, so this is again a metaphor for us when we practice. Okay, the name of the medicine Buddha is not just the name itself, but is referring to all the practices that we have come across in the previous life of medicine Buddha. So even though in the paragraph it only mentioned if we hear the name, remember the Buddha's name, the name itself is a representation of we remember the great vows of the Buddhas. We remember the practices of medicine Buddha. We remember whatever that we have been practicing in the past life. And because of a certain reason, certain condition that we are being blindfolded by greediness, being blindfolded by angriness or hatred, and of course, being ignorant of whatever that we have done during that moment of life, that we are not aware of it, then one will, because of this attachment, because of this clinging, one will be reborn in the lower realm. Okay, but whenever we realize and reflect upon what we have done, as long as we realize whatever unwholesomeness that one has done in the past, we will be able to change. We'll be able to do a reflection and contemplation. And instead of being greedy, we practice generosity. Instead of being angry or hating others, we try to practice compassion and loving kindness. Okay. And of course, like when we not only we give and share, but through appreciating what we have, we learn also to praise others who is doing the same thing of like being grateful and of course being able to share and give. Okay. So conclusion for today's sharing is like, I would like to kind of like emphasize again the practice of gratitude and contentment help us really appreciate what we have and what we are experiencing, okay, every single moment of our life. When we are grateful, we practice generosity and hoping others will have what we have, okay? So when we have the hope and wish that others will have the same as we have, then the level of eagerness within our mind is lessened by that. Okay? Not only the practice of giving, but when we have the wish and hope for others to be the same as us, we're not being competitive. We're not comparing. We're not feeling more superior than others because of what we have. Okay, everything because we feel grateful and we feel content with what we have. Okay, and the practice of gratefulness and also contentment is actually the 11 and the 12 great vows of medicine Buddha. Okay, and towards the end of the day, this practice can also liberate us from the 3 poisons. When we practice in our life, the main objective, okay, is to liberate ourselves from greed, anger or hatred, and ignorance. When we understand the Dharma, we try to understand the reality of life. When we understand the reality of life, when we have the mind of like holding on to certain things or craving towards certain things, we try to contemplate on the reality of dependent origination, how things comes about when there are the right causes and condition, and how things is to be when the causes and conditions changes. Okay, but when we contemplate on dependent origination, the craving that we have, the greediness that we have will lessen day by day. And of course, in a more proactive practice, like the Bodhisattva's practice, the first paramita is dana, is giving. Okay, so when we practice the Bodhisattva's path, we always have others in our mind. So the practice of giving is the first main foundation practice of Bodhisattva's path. Okay, so through that, we will gradually liberate ourselves from the three poisons. Okay, so this is what I would like to share with everyone for today. Now is Q&A. Not sure if everyone has any questions.
There are already a few questions and comments, Venerable. We have the first one that came from Chintan. He asks, Venerable, what can we do to ensure that we don't end up using our giving as a way of straightening our ego and feeling superior to those who don't seem to be as giving?
Okay, thank you, Angelica. So, so Chintan raised a very good question for us to reflect ourselves. When it comes to practice, when it comes to our daily action, it's always the main focus is on the intention that we have. So when we give, when we practice generosity, we have to ask our mind, we have to ask ourselves, what is my intention of doing that? If we can explore, if we can contemplate on the intention for us to give and share, then we will realize whether it is because of the ego or feeling superior for us to feel like, oh, I have more. So it is, I have the privilege in giving and sharing. Then it will be the ego. So again, the question goes back to what is our intention when we give and share. Then we will be able to understand what we have in our mind, whether it is feeling superior because of ego-ness, or it could be just feeling just the intention of like to help, to share whatever that we have. Okay.
Thank you. The next question.
Does that okay? Does that answer Chintan's question? Is Chintan here?
He should be.
Oh, sorry, I muted myself. Yes, Venerable. Thank you so much. It answers my
okay,
question.
I hope that is that answer a question.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
The next one is from Marissa. She has two questions. What is the difference between self-love, preservation, and greed? And the second one, take what give. Would you like me to repeat them, Venerable?
Yeah, Angelica, you broke up.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Thank you.
I'm reading the chat box too. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so so when there is greediness, we will be able to know, because we are taking taking more that we need. Okay, when it comes to self-love or self-preservation, we are taking whatever that we need, not taking whatever that we want. Okay, that is the difference. Then we will be able to tell whether this is a greediness, this is craving, or this is self-love or self-compassion or self-preservation. Okay, and of course, for us to practice giving and sharing, we try to give what we have. We try to share what we can share. Okay, just like, for example, sharing of Dharma, sharing of the Buddha's teachings. If there are questions that I don't know, I don't have answers, I will be very honest to everyone that I have no answer. I won't be able to answer you. So this is also an example of giving what we can give, sharing what we can share. Okay, if it is something beyond us, well, we won't be able to do it. But of course, there are certain circumstances that one might go beyond ourselves. Like, for example, our first liners, our first responders, not too long ago when we commemorate, we remember 9/11 incident. I actually took some time to watch the documentary, even though it's like very sad. By looking and listening to all the recordings of how the first responders, the firemen, they have gone beyond what they're responsible for. Like, for example, like when the plane hit the tower, some of the firemen even risk their own life climbing up the stairways, okay, all the way. And like, we know that thousands of first responders and of course like the staff working there lost their life because when the whole tower collapsed. So there are many police officers, there are many first responders. They really put others before their own life. Okay, so this is the examples that I can think of where an individual is willing to give more than what one can give. This is the examples that I can remember. So it really depends on an individual. It really depends on the circumstances that we encounter during that time. Okay, so
Thank you, Venerable.
I hope that answered your question, Marisa. Okay, and okay, Saiba, you like the video? Yeah, I think it's because of my internet speed. So the video is a little bit like jerky a little bit, but I will share this video in the Google Classroom so that if any one of you who would like to revisit and to watch it again, you will be able to watch it.
And the next one is Liam. He has his raised hand, Venerable. That would be the next order.
Okay, Liam, would you like to raise a question?
Yes. So just a moment. Amitabha. Sorry for asking this. So actually my Buddhist friend's sister, my Buddhist friend shared with me that her sister got a diagnosis of 2 tumors on the breast, and they haven't know if those tumors are harmful or not yet, and she has to wait until all the family members get fully vaccinated and a full 2 weeks of efficacy after that second dose to be able to move to other city for further diagnosis of the current period, and then absolutely in surgery after that. So that will be another month to wait. And somehow, luckily, her mom finally changed from an atheist to someone believing in the Buddhism, starting to recite the Great Compassion Mantra, the Avatamsaka names, the Medicine Buddha's name, mantra, and sutra at the moment. And her mom also spread this idea to other family members to pray for the younger together. To be honest, I also share with her to advise her parents and her sister to conduct these 3 things: believe in the Buddha, a Bodhisattva, and the Dharma. Pray, absolutely. Pray for the better result, and constantly practice the mantra, sutras, and the Buddha's and Bodhisattva's name until the day of surgery, and even after that, to vow for the power of the Buddhas and Bodhisattva to be able to live healthily after this. So what can be a better advice for them? That is what I would like to do.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Usually when a person experience physical sickness, the whole treatment, and also like there are a lot of like going on, like physical pain, physical discomfort, and also in the mind, one might think that why me? There's all this question that is going on, and the family support is always very important. But I don't recommend you to kind of like saying that one should recite this sutra and then change to this Buddha name, the Bodhisattva's name. We just focus on one.
On one.
On one, where she feel comfortable in reciting. It is because when we learn the Dharma, when we learn the mantra, the most important thing is for our mind to connect. If our mind is distracted with so many options, there's no time for us to shop around. There's no time for us to just try around. But no matter which Buddha, no matter which Bodhisattva, no matter which practice, as long as this practice is resonating with your family member, with the patient herself, is the most important thing. It is because, again, whether when we're reciting the sutra or the mantra, the most important thing is our mental focus, our concentration in our mind. That is the most important thing. And of course, like the faith that we have towards the Buddha is also very important. The same goes to our faith in believing our doctors, in trusting our doctors, in giving us the best medicine or treatment, that we need to build that faith towards the doctors, the nurses, and of course, when it comes to spiritual needs, we have to develop that faith in our own religion, faith in the Buddha, in a way. Yeah, only then we will be able to embrace whatever that we experience, whether it's getting good, better, or not getting better. We'll be able to accept whatever that we're experiencing. And of course, like to give one's confidence in knowing that as long as we're breathing this day today, I feel grateful and I appreciate that the 24 hours I have with my family. Because we won't know when we will move on. We won't know that when will be our last breath on earth. And sometimes I will try to lighten up a patient, saying that, oh, wow, at least you know that you have 30 days or 6 months. I don't know how many months I have. Yeah, even though like this is the reality check. Again, because we won't know, to be honest, like we won't know how many days we have as a human. But we are not living in a very pessimistic mind, thinking that, oh, will I wake up the next day? No, but we feel grateful. We feel content with the everyday that we have, with the family that we have, with the work that we have, with the everything that we have. As long as we have one breath, we are being grateful to be here.
Yes.
Yeah. And then for you, no matter what that she wants to do, well, we give her the full support. whichever sutra, whoever Buddha's name that you feel comfortable in reciting, go ahead.
Yes.
Whether it is Amitabha Buddha, whether it is Guanyin Bodhisattva, whether it is Medicine Buddha, they are all the same. Yeah. Even though they have a different focus in one's practice. Because just like Medicine Buddha, the Buddha has the 12 great vows. Just like Amitabha Buddha has 48 great vows. And like Shakyamuni Buddha, our teacher, has a great vow saying that this is the Pure Land. This here as human, this is our Pure Land here. Yeah, so every Bodhisattva, every Buddhist, they have their own emphasis in one's practice. But as long as we will be able to help to alleviate the physical discomfort, that is already very helpful.
Yeah. So from what you have just taught me, that for her family members who are not patient, so they have better focus and they can practice anything that they want. But for the younger who is a patient, she should focus on only one.
Yeah. And of course, that the full trust on the doctors is very important. Yeah.
I think it's quite it's very similar to what I experienced when I got into the surgery 3 times, and I don't have any other mind or concentration to any other things. I could only focus on only one Buddha's name, the Amitabha. So that helps me focus even better, because I was shaking a lot the whole time when I got into the surgery room. So yeah, so I will do this. I will tell the same thing to the younger. Thank you.
Thank you, Amitabha. Yeah, because of the time, we have gone over a little bit. Maybe we can, Angelica, who is the...
So there's 3 more questions. So one is from Lion Ping, and then Chitan, and then Denny, and then Annie just raised the question. So we have 3 more questions and 1 raised hand, but we are already at 3:05.
Okay, I quickly address to Lai Ping's question, how we can help our family members to be grateful and contentment. Well, this is a question that I don't have any answers, but we can always start from ourselves, like saying saying thanks to our family. When we start doing that, like for example, if our parents or our family members were to give us something, we just say thanks, or we address our gratefulness and appreciative for them being here. We can always start from ourselves. Only then they'll be able to reflect and know that the power of gratefulness and also contentment. Okay, and for Chintan, how can we distinguish between giving to make someone feel good or validated and giving to benefit them from a Dharma perspective? For example, if someone asks us to bring them a bottle of alcohol because they are feeling sad, okay, oh, no. We know that bringing it for them will make them feel good in the present. On the other hand, as they are Dhamma friends, we may not want to encourage them to use alcohol to avoid addressing their sadness. How do we navigate this situation and convey to them that just doing what they want is not the kind of giving that we want to practice? So in short, when we give, when we practice compassion, always with wisdom, okay? Even though like one might want to have a short-term happiness, but what will happen after taking alcohol the next day? Everyone will know what is the effect, okay? So that is not the solution. That is not the way. So always embrace and practice when we give, remember the equal importance of wisdom. When we're giving, are we helping them or are we making things worse? So this is a question that we ask. Okay. So, okay. So because of the time. Okay. Annie, you have a quick question?
Yes, definitely. I'm not for the question. I just hear the other brother asking for the sickness people, no matter they are friend or they are relative or they are very close relationships people. If anyone they are very sick, I think as Sifu say, don't recommend to chant this, chant that, chant the others. I think the best way to help them, in my experience before I share with the others, it's use the chanting machine. Right now, we have one kind of a chanting machine. What I know is like a wooden fish and a small, and they have 37 kind of Buddha's name and mantras. You can play that the sickness people to choose which one he or she like it most and just play that one 24/7. Of course, some people, if they say when they are sleeping, they cannot hear any noise, it can turn off. But for the very sickness people, I think play 24/7 is very good for them because during the day, he can make a louder, and when he sleep or she sleeps, she can make a lower voice like a background. That can bring their mind keep on that the Buddha's name or Bodhisattva's name or mantras and helping themselves a lot. And during the day, any people you have a time, just give him or give her a company chanting with her. Let her feel like, let him feel like we care about him because everybody working and busy, but still have to share with the person. And then let her feel very safe. I think that's a really very good way. And that not only for sickness people, for every one of us, like we are at home, 24/7, we have Amitabha's chanting. And
we mentioned about the chanting box last week when we talk about the mantra. So it is good, like it helps us to stay focused, whether we are awake or when we are asleep. So we always focus on one. Okay. Thank you, Amy.
That was a very
helpful. Let us, thank you. So let us conclude our session with our dedication and merit. So let us all join our palms. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May chant, Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our humility and gratitude give rise to great vows. So I'll see everyone next Saturday that I'm going to share with everyone the practice of precepts as our teacher. Okay, so before we go, I have like 2 quick announcements. One is this afternoon, like 4:30 Pacific time, we are going to have, as part of the BLIA North America Cloud Lecture Series, that there's a forum based on My Faith, My Life. So it's on YouTube. If you cannot listen during that time, you can always go back to the BLIA YouTube channel that they will have the video, this forum up for some time. And next Friday, we are going to have Thank Buddha is Friday. Once a month, we have a guest speaker to share with us a Dhamma talk. So next Friday, we're going to have one special topic on humanistic Buddhism, the solution. Ms. Mabel Lam, she is a representative of BLIA in United Nations. She's going to share with us how BLIA in general, Buddhist Light International Association, do support the initiative that the United Nations is having in terms of the sustainability effort globally, internationally. So I think that it is a very interesting topic and I hope that if you have time, you're most welcome to join us next Friday. And of course, if not, I'll see you on next Saturday's class. So please stay safe and I'll see you next week. Amitofo. Thank you.